evening. Myself Navaneethan, and today we have getting started with Azure AI Studio, and I would like to thank Microsoft and Rohit for the opportunity, and I'm very happy to share my knowledge with our community. So let me give a short introduction about myself. I work as a data science manager at Ingram Micro, and I have experience in analytics, ML ops, and data engineering. And I'm a Microsoft AI MEP, and I'm a dev lead, Azure developer community lead for Tamil Nadu, and I have some certifications in Azure and AI. And I'm an enthusiastic learner and tech community contributor. I'm more interested to share my knowledge with the community. Yeah, that's all about me. Maybe I can go to the presentation. Rohit, can I continue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Rohit. Okay, yeah. So let's jump into the session. So today we are going to see about AI Studio. Before that, I will give little introduction about generative AI era, and we will be seeing a complete walkthrough on Azure AI Studio, and we will be having few demos and what would be the next step. For example, you are attending the session. What's next? And yes, so this session it's intermediate and intended for people who have basic understanding in generative AI. At least you should have tried some APIs and used some prompt to generate the response. Yeah. So I'll move to the next slide. So I believe, not sure how many of you seen this product already. So here I'm trying to say AI is everywhere. Even Coca-Cola wants to explore on AI, and they come up with this product. So this product taste defined by developed by AI. You can go and search it in Google, and you will get more information about it. So my thought is, say you are a developer or you are a product manager or any role you are in, you should start think about AI, how AI will add value to your role. Say as a developer, so whether I can use Copilot or some tools to create codes for me, or as a product manager, whether it will help me to create some roadmap or plan for me. So we should have tried on that, which is very important. Maybe you can check this in Google and get more details about this product. So the next part is AI, artificial intelligence, no longer a question of when, but how. So it's pivotal that we should start exploring AI. So mostly the use cases nowadays coming based on content creation, data driven decisions, or software interaction. So content creation, I believe you all heard about it. So in digital marketing or any other, say you are creating some website, so you need someone's help to create the content. So we can get more help from generative AI. For example, you are creating some website and you need to add the product catalogs, description, and everything. So you can use generative AI to generate the content for you. And data driven decisions, which is very important. So as a human, we found difficulty to take some decisions, and even though we have huge amount of data, we are finding little difficult to take the decision. With the help of generative AI, we can get the decisions very easily. And the next one is software interaction, which is like interacting with the softwares. Say you are having a CRM, and how you can interact with it and get some insights out of it. Or like I said, Gen AI will help you to write the code, peer programming. So all those areas we can get help from generative AI. And another important important thing, we can use chatbot as well. In chatbot, we can use Gen AI for the conversational platform. And so this is the report from UBS. See, I'm not ready to use generative AI. So what is the outcome? So there is a 55% increased competition risk. For example, if you are not trying it, your competitor will try it, and so the competition risk is there. and the revenue potential. So when you start using Gen AI, there is a possibility that 58% increase in your revenue. So that is very important. And finally, the cost saving potential. So when you start using generative AI, there is a possibility that you can save your cost. So it can be, for example, some repetitive jobs you are doing, so you can use Gen AI to automate it, or some of the tasks, like I said, content creation, or some software interaction. So instead of having humans, we can start using Gen AI to get a better experience. So definitely, no longer AI, like when we are going to use, it's about how we are going to use. Okay. And so this slide I just added how large language models used in different industry. For example, you can see more percentage in marketing and advertising. As I said, content creation or campaign. So those are all the areas we are getting more help from generative AI. So that industry is being used more. And next to sales and operation, so that industry also using it more. So now data and AI is pivotal for everyone. Like I said earlier, any role which requires AI. So earlier, AI or data science, we have a specific team, they will be working on it. But nowadays, whatever the team you are, you need to have some exposure to AI. And also in 2024, like people think that generative AI will help them to get a faster decisions. Say, with the help of Gen AI, they can get faster decisions. So that's the expectation. And because of the huge usage in generative AI, we can see more modernization in data, because data is everything. So with the help of data only, we are creating the foundation model and we are using it. So it's mandate that we need to improve our data governance and data modernization, which is very important. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. Maybe if you have any questions, you can post it in chat. I will answer it at the end of the session. So I will play a little video to talk about Azure AI Studio and how it will be helpful. Let me play it. Okay. So this video given a little idea about what Azure AI Studio going to do. We have limitless opportunities. Let's explore what we can do with Azure AI Studio. Okay. So maybe I can straight away go into AI Studio and I'll be showing the features. So before that, I want to talk little on the Copilot stake. So Microsoft used this Microsoft Copilot stake on top of this AI Studio, and now it is available for all of our usage. So the entire framework comes under AI safety and security, which Microsoft follows. So whatever we do in this, it will meet the AI safety and security from Microsoft. And we can add our data on top of the foundation model. Then, for example, we can do the fine tuning, and we can get specific data, sorry, specific insights to our industry or our organization. And also, whatever they created in Copilot, so now it is available for all of us, and we can go and start use Azure AI Studio. And the complete AI infrastructure sits in Microsoft Cloud, and so it's taking care of everything, compute and storage. Maybe once I go into AI Studio, I can show that. If I create a hub, it will take care everything. I don't need to create open AI key or storage key. I don't need to do anything. We'll see that. And yeah, so to give a little context about Azure AI Studio, so it's a unified platform for developing generative AI apps and custom Copilot experience. So as I said, it's a unified platform. So it is having everything, the comprehensive AI tools, and also it is very helpful for the developer. So code centric. If you want to try something, so this is the right tool. And data and search. So for example, I have some data, my own data. You can add the data, and you can create embeddings, and you can play with the vector search. Also, we have the foundation model in Azure AI Studio. So like you can easily explore which model will fit for your use case, and what are all the limitations, or what scenarios we can use it. So we have everything. Even it has multi-model as well, which is like text to image, or text to text, or text to video, or text to voice. So that also available. And the next part is on the safe and responsible AI. So, say, as I said, we are following Microsoft AI and governance thing. Whatever they have, that we are getting it. So, in terms of content classification, or model monitoring, or jailbreak risk detection, so we are getting that benefit from safe and responsible AI. And also, we have full development life cycle, which is like we can create the prompt flows, and if you want to operationalize the LLM or deploy it, and after deployment, if we need to do the monitoring, so everything we can do here, which is very good. So finally, it is like we are utilizing AI responsibly with the help of Azure AI Studio. Okay, so I will go into demo. So I believe you have basic understanding on Microsoft Azure portal. So I will not go much in that. And so you can log in into Azure portal, and you can select Azure AI Studio, and you need to create some resources. So I have already created for this session. So this is the home page for Azure AI Studio. So here the common thing, we can create hubs. So hubs will having the resources, and like if you want to collaborate, for example, I have already created a hub season of AI. So I have already created, so whatever the supporting resources already been created. For example, whatever the subscription and location and the resource group. And if you come down, you can see the project. So in, and also if you want to share this with your teammate, you can add and manage the group as well. So the project I created, yeah, so this is the project I created. And if you come down, you can see about the resource type. For example, I created some data set, and if you want some models, so we can go from here. So in one place we have everything, so we don't need to create separate keys and compute or storage, so we don't need to do anything. So when we are creating it, automatically it will get created. Okay, so now we'll see one by one. So the first one, I need to say about the cost. So please be cautious when you are using the Azure resources. So if you are already familiar with Azure, so you are aware. So whatever we are using it, pay as you go model. Say when you are using token and you are generating some content or you are generating some image, so everything we have to pay for it. So please have eye on it. And so whatever I'm using it, so this is based on my open OpenAI quota. So when you are using this, you should have Azure OpenAI access as well. You can get Azure OpenAI Studio access, and that can be used in Azure AI Studio as well. For example, Azure OpenAI standard, I have already got the access and I have added in AI Studio. So this is important. And here we can see about the quota. For example, if you see DALI, I have already used one quota, I guess. And there are some other models like DaVinci Curie and all. I haven't used it, or Turbo Instruct and all. I have already used it. So this you can see about the quota, and most of the services will be available in East US or East US too, and some other regions the availability depends on it may available or may not available. So please do double check. So now let's go to the model catalog, which is having everything, the foundation model and fundamental model, open source model. So this is the place we need to check about the models. Okay, so as I said, say I'm new to generative AI, and I don't know the providers. For example, what are all the models, the foundation models from Microsoft or Meta or Mistral or Nvidia? So that we can see here, and the deployment option. So whether you want to manage to compute or serverless API, so that also you can select it, and based on that you can get the models. And then we have the inference task. So inference, it's nothing but your usage. So how you want to use the foundation model, whether it's a conversational or field mask or question answering or summarization. So based on your task you can pick the model. Say for example, I want to do text classification, so you can just select it. Then in the left hand side you will get the text classification model. For example, we are getting Roberta or Microsoft Debata. So these are all the models I can use for the text classification. So in this way, you can do the research, or you can get the model based on your requirement. Okay, and the next thing is, see, these are all the different tasks generally people will do in generative AI use case. So even if you are not familiar what I can do with the generative AI model, so this would be the right place. You can just go and see the different tasks. For example, speech recognition, I guess you are aware. So embeddings, creating some vector embeddings and use it in vector search. Or if you want to do some forecasting, or you want to convert say text to image, or you want to do some translation, so you can just see this task. And finally, the fine tuning task. For example, you want to do some fine tuning, for example, image classification or object detection, so this will come under fine tuning task. So that kind of tasks also you can see it over here. And we have something called license. So if you are using some open source licenses, you have some preferences. For example, I want to try Apache 2.0 or OpenRail, so that also you can do the search. Say let me check Apache 2.0. So what kind of models are there? So mostly Mistral models comes under Apache, so that you can check it. And even Databricks Dolly also we have. So now let me remove all the filters I have applied. Okay, so now you got some understanding about the different providers models and the different task. So how you can choose the model based on your task or based on the provider. So now let's see, based on Microsoft. So Microsoft, what are all the models are available? Mostly recently Pi3 getting more attention. So if you want to use some Pi3, so for example Pi3 comes under chat completion. Say you want to do some chat completion, you can use Pi3 model. And also we have Orca and some other models. Maybe we will just remove Microsoft, and we will see the overall models. Maybe I'll open the other features, other like model benchmarks and prompt catalog, because it's taking more time for the loading. If you have any questions, you can post it in chat. Maybe. Okay. So now we can see some other details related to model. For example, when till what data was used for training, and some other metrics that we can see. I will pick Llama. Say Llama 3. I'm picking. So as you all know, Llama from Meta. So we will see about Llama. So Llama can be used for chat completion, fine-tuning task, and Llama will support only English. For example, if you want to try some translation, we cannot pick this model. And the license type is custom. And we have the model details. So Meta developed and released the Meta Llama 3 family of large language models. So it is having 70 billion size, the tokens, the parameters, and the model developers it developed by Meta, and the different variation in Llama 3 with 8 billion parameter or 70 billion parameter. So that we have, and we have pre-trained and instruction tuned variants as well. And yes, so model input text only, so it's not a multi-model. We can put text as a input, and we can get output as a text or code. And so these are all some examples, some samples. So if you want to use LangChain or Light LLM, you can just click on the Python notebook, and you can use it. And we have the model architecture as well. And as they said, it has two variants, 8 billion and 70 billion. And what is the context length? 8K context length, and token count. And this is very important, the knowledge cutoff. So they have used the openly available data, and they trained the Llama 3, right? So till March 2023 only they have used this model data for training the model. Same for 70 billion parameter, till December 2023 only they have used it. So if you are asking some questions, say chat or something, after 2023, December 2023, if you are asking something, the model cannot be answered. I mean, it will not have that information. And yes, this is the model release date, and we have some information about the license, and what is the purpose of use, intended use cases, and what hardware and software they are using it, the power consumption, and yeah, this is very important, carbon emitted. So nowadays we are using n number of generative AI model. So how it is impacting the environment. So they started sharing the carbon emitted as well. So you can pick the model which is having less emission, so that we are doing good to the environment. And the training data, say what is the training data to train this model? So Llama 3 was a pre-trained with the 15 trillion tokens. And yeah, the pre-trained data has a cutoff March 2023. This we already seen. And these are all the different benchmark they are using it for 8 billion or 7 billion or 13 billion. So what is the benchmark? So we can see all these details. So this will be very useful when you are using this model. And what is the responsibility and safety also they are providing it. So all these information you can get from one place. And if you want to use some sample input, for example, so as a user role based, how you can give and what kind of content you can get it, so that samples also we have here. So this is all about Llama 3. Maybe, yeah, the contributors details also here. Yeah, that's all we have. And if you want to deploy it, you can deploy it. So that is good part. So earlier we need to know about the model, and what purpose we can use that model. So all those information we need. But here we came into Azure AI Studio, and it is having all the model details and the task. Even if you want to deploy also, you can do it. And one more thing, we can see about the pricing also. Say if you are using serverless APIs, so the pricing is for 1,000 token, it's 0.01 dollars. And this is for other type pay go inference. And yeah, this is input token and output token. Please note that even input and output both will be considered while taking the tokens. And yeah, then you can see about the versions. I guess we already seen different versions. Say model like Meta Llama 370 billion parameter instead. So they have four versions. So when they launched, mostly we can use the recent version, and we can see about the artifact. Yeah, so artifact, if you want to know the complete YAML things and YAML model details, so that you can see, and about the data, the model tokenizer. So these information you can see it over here, and then the security. So they got some certification from hidden layer model scanner. So this information will be helpful when you are working on the data governance part. Yeah. So now we come into the model catalog, and we just gone through the models and the task and the deployment option. Even we had a detailed look on Llama model. So this will be very useful. And for our today's session, I'll be using GPT-4 or GPT-4 and DALI. So these models I'm going to use for our today's session. Okay. So that's all about the model catalog, and we have gone through everything. So then the next thing, the model benchmark. So this will be very useful when we are doing the evaluation in terms of the performance. For example, say I'm picking these task, question answering, text generation, and so these are all the provider we have, and these are all the different models like Databricks or Llama. So we have it, and how the model accuracy is. So which is very important, right? You are using generative AI to generate some content or writing some code. Always you should get a better accuracy, which we will expect. So the model accuracy part with the four categories they are doing it. So accuracy, coherence, fluency, and GPT similarity. So accuracy, it's nothing but it is giving the score. For example, how at a data set level, how much better response we are getting it. So it is like exact match simply compares the model generated text. So you are asking about what is season of AA. So is it giving the right text, the generated text meeting your expectation, the accuracy part. And coherence, so whether the language model producing the output smoothly and resemble like a human like content, so that will come under coherence. And fluency, so this is like the prediction answer. So whatever I predicted, how much accurately it is. And the generated text, whether it adheres the grammatical rules or the synthetic structures, all those things we can check with the fluency score. And finally, GPT similarity. So whatever getting generated, how it is with the GPT based model. So these metrics we are using for the evaluation, and we can see about the score. For example, if you want to see specific model, or you want to do some comparison, say I want to compare Llama 2 with Mistral with GPT 3.5. So you can use this. So each and everything we have different metric. For example, social science data, how it is performing, or boot queue, how it is performing. So all this information we have, and you can just learn what is these parameters. Then it will be useful for you to check the model performance. Okay. And so these are all the different model names, and you can see it. And so this is about the coherence. We seen the four metrics, right? So how model coherence for this model. Maybe if you want, we can put Llama 2 and Llama 13 billion and 7 billion. Okay, so here you can see when we have more data, the accuracy is increasing. The generation, the output is better. So if you see here, so that is one finding I can see. And the groundness, groundness in terms of Llama 270 billion, it is high compared to Llama 2 13 billion or Llama 2 7 billion. So when we have more parameters, the groundness or the coherence or the accuracy is getting increased. And the model fluency also, say always when you have more data and quality data, the output will be better. So it same as data science models. And the model relevance also, whatever the output it is generating, how relevant. So that also we can see it over here. And yeah, model similarity, I will skip it. Yeah, so maybe this comparison will be useful for you. So out of these three models, llama 2 70 billion and 13 billion and 7 billion, different parameters, how much accuracy. So whatever we seen in the graph, we have it in number. In one place we can do the comparison. So this will be useful definitely. So when you are planning to pick the model, so you can use this page to select the model. So now the next one is the prompt catalog. I guess you all aware what is prompt. Say when you are giving some prompt to the generative AI model, it is like you are asking some question to the model. For example, I'm asking what is season of AI. So then it will hit the generative AI model and it will give me the response. So the response, like, it will generate some content and it will give. So that we will see it in the playground. And the prompt catalog, we have some prompt samples. Let's see once it get loaded. For some reason it's taking more time. So I have some prompts I have already created for this session that I will use it for chat. Okay, so until it get load, we can go to the next pod. I don't know, it's taking more time. So the next one is playground. So playground. So the good part of Azure AI Studio, you can test. Say you have some use case in mind, and you can come and you can choose the model based on your use case. Then you can come to the playground and you can test it. I mean, you are trying to explore the model, then you are testing it. So once you are happy with the output and all, then you can deploy it. So everything you can do in one place. So that will be the advantage of Azure AI Studio. Maybe I can go to chat. Okay, and like assistance in preview, so we can skip it. And images, if you want to generate some images, you can use this. Okay, so now we got chat. So chat playground, it's similar to you could have tried chat gpt. You will be asking some questions to chat gpt, and it will hit the foundation model, it will give you the response. So similar to that. So I have already having this prompt. So let me try it. How much do the trial master x4 10 cost? So I have some info about the tracking materials. So I'm just asking the model. So I'm using GPT-4. Okay, so GPT-4, I have already deployed the model, the foundation model, and now I'm using it for my chat application. So if you see here, so it is coming like as of my last update till April 2023 only they have the trained data. So because of this reason, I cannot provide real-time prices or specific cost. So they are unable to give the price. So when we were seeing the foundation model, the llama, so I was showing till what date they used the train data. So similar here also we are getting it. So now let's see, we can add our data. So we'll see. I have already added my data and I will just call it. For example, add your data, then add a new data source. So I have already loaded the data in the blob. Yeah, it's in the Azure AI Studio itself. So I'll show how I loaded so that I can show it. So I'm just using this data. Okay. So now, do we need to create some index? We can create it. And index storage also, if you want to define it, you can define. And virtual machine, I'm just selecting auto select. So it will get automatically selected. Okay. And Yeah, so I'm just connecting to the Azure AI resource. Okay, I didn't create the Azure AI resource. Let me create it. Before that, I just want to try one more thing. Instead of indexing, I can just add the data directly. We'll try that as well. Okay, it's recorded. It it may be taking some time. So I will just create it and I will continue the session. Once it is created, we can see about this example. And so the best part of Azure AI Studio, whatever you are creating it, you can export it or you can view the code. So the code will be supporting different languages like Python, JSON, C Sharp, Java, or Go. So you can use anything. So once you create this, you can copy the code and you can integrate with your application. So that is the advantage. And you can check the prompt flow also. How whatever the steps you are doing it, based on that you can use it. And also you can customize the prompt flow as well. And you can do the evaluation. So we discussed a little about the evaluation. When the model is generating, how you can do. So you can go with automated evaluation or manual evaluation, you can do. And the next good part is you can deploy it here itself. Say you want to deploy this chat into a web app, you can directly do here. So before that, I will create the search service. So search service creating like index, and that we can use it for our service. So I'm just creating a season of AI, and yeah, mostly I will use. Okay, some reason East US is not available, so I'll use West US, and yeah, I'll create it. So it will be taking. And yeah, so here you can see it. So it cost us 20,797. I guess it's for month. So when you are doing it, you have to spend this much. So search service and some other service also little costly. So whenever you are creating this, please be cautious. Okay, so until it loads, we'll see the next options. So we have seen chat, and yeah, assistants. Yeah, let's see prompt catalog. Yeah, so we got the prompt catalog. So as I said, you are new to generative AI and you have some use cases, and you want to try the prompts. So in that scenario, the prompt catalog will be useful. For example, so you want to create some travel assistant, so what prompt you have to give, so that you can use it, we'll see it. Or you want to create some real estate agent assistant, then you can use this. Or you want to create some, or you want to write some marketing content, so marketing writing assistance, you can use it. Or you want to create some chatbot, you can say, let's see a travel assistant. So the prompt catalog, how it looks like. So let me add a new resource. So it will be based on, okay, before that, instead of direct file itself, I can try it out. So we may not need to do the indexing for this part. 1 minute. So these are all the different data sources I have. I'm just loading it. I have some product details. I'm just loading for the chat. So looks like Azure is search. It's number. Yeah. So I have already created the Azure AI search and I'm just using it. And yeah, the index name I'm going with the default and auto select. So the search setting, I'm adding a vector search, and the embedding model I have already created and I'm using it. and for embedding it is using text embedding ADA 002. Okay, now I'm just moving forward. Yeah, so here you can see the index name, what is the index storage used, and Azure AI search I have created, and yes, I have included the vector settings, and the embedding model connection also I have created, and the compute auto select I have done. So I'm just giving create, so it will create. Let's take, we'll see the prompt sample. Okay, so here we have selected the travel assistant, right? So I'm giving the message, you are an AI assistant that helps people to find information. So I'm just loading this message, say arrival, departure, the board. So based on this flight information board, can you provide specifics for my trip to Zurich? So you are traveling to Zurich, and you want to get the information. So let's see how it works. Yeah, so this is just an example, and I guess last time I was getting some enter button also. Now, okay, fine. So in this way, you can just go to prompt samples and you can explore uh, different cases for summarization or content creation. You can just play around with it. So now let's see. We created the chat playground. Yeah, so it is done. So now I just loaded the data source, right? So earlier I just asked the question, how much do the trial master export 10 cost? So it said like, as of my last update, I don't have that information, right? Okay, the reason is ingestion status is in progress, so we'll wait for that. Okay, so now we can see about the assistants as it is in preview mode. I don't have access, so I will skip this. So if you want to create some assistant, so now agentic framework getting more attention. So if you want to try it, so this will be useful. And the next one is images. So images also I have already created a model, the foundation model DALI 2 I have created. Maybe here we can write some prompt, and we can show it. Maybe I can try it. Season of a event in Chennai. Say I'm giving this task talk for a season of a event, and if season of a event is happening in Chennai, how it will be. Or I will change this to India. So let's see how it will be. So based on this prompt, it is helping me to generate the image, and it is using DALI 2 model. Yeah. So for example, it is coming like a intention. So season of a event, it is generating in this way. But I'm not happy with the output. But okay, I just want to show a demo. And if you want to integrate with your application, you can just go here and get the sample code. So in this way, you can use it. So this is the example for images playground. And completion, so you, so this is like you are giving some prompt, and you can add some variables, and you can create the completion. So in that part this will be useful. Like you can play around with it. Maybe you can see some of the prompt samples, and you will get the understanding. Say I'm just trying generate a product description, so I'm just using the prompt. So it will help me to create the prompt, write a product description in bullet points, right? And the temperature I'm giving one, and if you, what is the maximum token size, the probabilities, so everything we can give it. Okay, so for this it will take 41 tokens. Yeah, so if you want to just try it, it will help you to create the product description, and also I given some instruction. The tone should be professional. So it is giving me the completion thing. So this will be the other part. Okay, now let's go to the. Okay, still it is in progress. I will see. I will wait for that. And yeah, so this is for a completion background, and we can yeah, this we will explore in the bottom. So the next one is code. Like I said, you can use it in VS Code, or even you can use this for write a code for you. So the generative AI model will help you to write the code. So this is for code purpose, and the next one is prompt flow. So I like this is very useful for me. The reason is like when I'm starting new and I don't know how I need to create a flow. So you can just get it from some gallery. For example, so we can take from multi-round QA on your data. I'm just cloning it. Okay. Yeah, it will come like that, but it will create it 1 minute. I guess there is some problem. Last time also I got like this, but later it got created. I'll wait for some time. It should be running, I guess, or I will create one more. Maybe I will create for Q&A on your data. For some reason, earlier also it was not working, but I was able to get the prompt flow. Let me try it one more time, because it looks like it already created. So the same name it is not allowing me to do. We'll wait for some more time. So definitely it should get it. Okay, and tracing, evaluation, fine tuning, all in preview. So I will not have option to try it. So I will just skip it. Maybe tracing, like you want to trace the performance of your LLM application, and if you want to do some debugging, so this feature will be useful, and the evaluation will be definitely useful. So whatever the model generating the content, you want to do some evaluation, so this feature will be useful. Say for example, groundness, relevance. So this we already seen in that, right? The same thing we have here. And if you want to create some manual evaluation also, you can create it. And fine tuning. So fine tuning, it's very important. Like yes, I have the foundation model, and I want to train the model specific to industry or specific to my org. So that scenario, the fine tuning will be helpful. I have a recorded video because I don't have I'm unable to create this fine tuning. So I have taken the video from Microsoft, and I will just play it, the fine tuning example. Okay, and the next components, like data. So like I have already loaded this data, and before we created the vector index data set, so that will come here. So the good part of this, you can use different data sources. For example, you can put the data in Azure Blob or some other URL. Even you can load from other service provider as well. So that you can load it, and you can use for fine tune your model or indexing. So you can use this data. And the indexes, yes, we have already created one index for that chat playground. We'll see that it is ready. Let's see. I don't know. Today it's taking more time. Yeah. So now it is come. It came. So here, so earlier we were asking the trial master cost. It was telling that they updated data till April 2023. So now I loaded my data, and we'll see how it work. The data source, and this is important. As I said, I have used vector search, right? So in vector search, we have different types. Hybrid. So hybrid, it will be combination of vector and keyword, or semantic based on the meaning. So if you are searching something based on the meaning, it will pick you the response. Or keyword, So it will be keyword specific. Maybe in the presentation I will give more walkthrough. And advanced settings, so whether you want to limit the responses, the strictness, how it should be, and any restricted sorry retrieved documents you have to use, so that you can do it. Okay, so now I have added the data and I'm ready for the chat. Okay, let's see. Now I'm asking how much do the trial master cost. Just to reiterate, first I created chat playground and I just used the foundation model GPT-4 and I asked the question and it said that as per the last update, they don't have this data. Then I loaded my data and I created vector search. Now I'm trying it. Let's see how we are getting the response. Sometimes we are getting like this, but I have the recorded video and I can show it. Let me change some other model. Luckily, I have got the previous recording and I can show that. Okay, yeah, this turbo inject model I cannot use it, but this one was working fine earlier. I'll just double check the deployment also. One minute. I'll just check the deployment. Yeah, I have created this. It's available. Yeah, everything looks good. Okay, maybe I can show that in the presentation. Some reason it's not working. And yeah, so we seen the data and the indexes, and then deployments. So deployment just now so these are all the foundation model I just deployed. And if you want to deploy, you can just go and you pick the model. For example, if you want to deploy Llama or any model, it is available here. You can just select and you can deploy it. So then it will deploy it and ready to use. Okay, and the next important part, content filters. So this will be very useful. Say AI and safety, in safety and governance, very important, right? So if you are getting some inappropriate content, we can use these content filters. For example, let me create one sample content. For example, say violence category or hate or sexual or self-harm category. So how you want to control. So you can select the threshold. For example, for each category, what is the threshold, medium or low or high, so that you can define it. And you can just select it. So the first one is input. Say when the user is giving the input, how it should act, and output, how it should act, that you can restrict it. And on which model you have to deploy it. For example, I want to deploy it for 4o GPT 4o. I want to deploy it. So this content filters I need to, and so this is the input I have given, and I'm just creating the filter, and this will be used in your foundation model. Last try, I will just try chat one more time. Maybe I'll do one thing. I'll just remove the data source. I will add it one more time. Okay, it's added. I guess looks like it's coming now. So because I added the data, then but unfortunately the cost is not coming. But if you see here, some search thing is not happening. Earlier it was telling I don't have the data. I had data till 2023. Maybe I'll give some other option. I have one more. How much data trial worker? Yeah, so if you see here, now we are getting the price. The cost of trial worker hiking shoes can vary based on the brand, model, and retailer. So it is giving me the answer. So earlier with the system message, let's see. Maybe I will just remove the data and we'll try it. Moment. I'll just go to this and try it one more time. Yeah, so the same response only getting it. It's fine. So based on the data we loaded, we are getting the response. Okay. So yeah, so that's all we have in Azure AI Studio. We have seen everything, and yeah, deploy to web app. Also, I will just show it. We can create a web app. So season of AI, and I'm just selecting the subscription and the resource group. So location, I'm just going with East US, and price plan, I'm going with free itself. And if you want to enable the chat history, you can click it. It consists the data will store in Cosmos DB, and it is having some pricing. And web app also having some pricing. So let's deploy it. It will take some time, so till that we will go and see the other options. Yeah, so today we have seen Azure AI Studio Hub and projects and the model catalog, where we went through the foundation model and the found all the models available, and based on task and the data till what date they have used to do test. And we did a chat playground, and we generated one image, a DALI, and we checked the prompt flow. And yeah, so these are, and we have loaded our data and created index and vector search. So all these things we have seen today. Okay, I guess it will take some more time. Now let me go to my presentation. Okay, so we have seen about the data and search. Yes, so data, I just loaded the data in blob and I used it in vector search, so that we have gone through. And yes, so always data is the fuel that powers AI. So if you have good data, quality data, and large data, the model will give better results, better outputs. Okay, and so this we have seen. We have loaded the data, and I just selected Azure AI search, and it can be taken from blob or data lake or even S3 or Azure AI search. So these are all the different data sources we can use. So we have seen this already, and vector search also we have seen it. We created index, right? So here I just want to talk a little about what is vector search. So vector, say it's nothing but embedding. For hello world, we are creating a embedding. It's a 10 dimensional array. So it's number, it's converting hello into numbers. So when we have different sentences, and we are using this model to create the embeddings. For example, in our case, we used text embeddings. I guess ADA embeddings, we tried it, right? So once we create the embedding, we can do the search easily. So the relevancy will, for example, in here, ship, vessel, boat are nearer, floats and sails are nearer. So when I'm asking ship, so relevancy related word, we can get it. So this is vector example, and the embeddings, how it will be. Say if you put it into embedding, say we have relationship between king and queen, and man and women. So this is the way embeddings works. So we are creating embeddings to retrieve the information, right? So we are creating the vector embeddings, and after I'm putting some keyword, or I will see about, I mean, we will see in the next slide, hybrid and all. So the relevance keyword will be picked, and you will get the output. So like country capital also you can see it. We are Tokyo having close relationship with Japan, China with Beijing. So all these things, the relationship in the embeddings. So when you are searching something, you will get the relevant output. Okay, and so this is Azure vector search. We are having different data sources. Say I said about the multimodal, right? Images, audio, video, and we are transforming into embeddings. Say this is the vector representation we are getting it, and it is going into the Azure cognitive search. And you are creating some application or some uh, tool. Whatever you are asking it, it will get convert or it will be transformed into embedding. Then the vector representation will reach the cognitive search. So we already have the data in the vector representation. Then the relevant say the relevant keyword or relevant semantic word will get picked, and we will get the result. So this is the overview about Azure vector search. Okay, and so while selecting the indexing, we seen this, right? Hybrid plus semantic, vector, keyword. So in Azure AI search, we can use everything: vectors plus keywords plus re-ranking. So the results and the high quality results, when we have combination, it will be better. For example, if we having hybrid and semantic ranker, the accuracy will be good. Maybe you can go through this and you will get more understanding on this. And yeah, so we have already added our data, and we seen that, and we have gone through the foundation models as well. Like we went llama and even GPT. So we went I mean, we gone through all the models, the foundation models in the catalog, and multi models also we seen it. And yeah, so these are all the latest Azure OpenAI service model, GPT-4 Turbo or GPT-4 with the Vision and DALI 3, and all these are in preview mode. And yeah, so when we are enabling the multi-model, we can do text to image or text to video or video to image, video to text, so that we can do it. And yeah, RAG, maybe I'll touch upon in the next slide. And yes, we have the trust in Azure AI. So our data is our data. So we are just using for our use case. So they will not use for their training or any purpose. So we are getting that assurance from Microsoft. And yeah, so our data, they are not using it to train their foundation model. So they are giving that assurance. And also data is protected, like whatever the comprehensive enterprise compliance and security control they have. So based on that, our data is protected. They are giving that assurance, Microsoft. And yeah, fine tuning also possible, but it was not available for me, so we can skip this. And yeah, so RAG versus fine tuning. See, we are adding some knowledge and modifying the tone. So all this will come under fine tuning. We'll see the use case. For example, I always say this use case for RAG. So here I'm comparing librarian as a RAG. Say you want to take a horror genre book. Okay, so if you are going to library, so getting the horror book, it will take some time for you. But librarian, within a fraction of within some time, he can get you the horror books. Because say the example is this is the application, we are giving the prompt, get me the horror book. So they have the embedding model with the genre and author, title, everything. So then it is going to the librarian, and he knows the library catalog easily, so he can pick it easily. So this is RAG. Say you have some your specific ask or getting the data, in that scenario RAG will be useful. And yeah, so this model catalog also we have seen different model catalogs like GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, 3.5, all these things we have seen in Azure AI Studio. And yeah, so model as service also available. Say we can take llama, and we can create as a API, and we can use it. So this also we have seen it. And model benchmarking also we have seen it, the evaluation thing. We are comparing with that four metrics, so that we have already seen. And model as a service. Say this is not available for me. You can take some Llama model and you can customize it and use it in your application. So this is the demo, recorded demo I have. So for example, they want to do for question answering, and they are just selecting this model. So they are trying to find the right model for them. So these are all the different models, and so this we already seen the benchmark, right? So for Llama, we have already seen the catalog. For example, 7 billion or 13 billion parameter that we have seen, and we are going pay as you go. So they are doing model as a service. So they are selecting the project. I'm just giving the deployment name. So this was the recorded video I got from Microsoft team. Okay, so they have used Llama to 7 billion parameter one, and they have deployed it in Azure AI Studio. So now the model is ready for our experiment. So this is a completion model. So my name is Julian and I like to. So I'm asking, it is giving the response. And so this already we have seen it, the model details, everything. So this is the sample. And this image I have just used for with the DALI. I created a season of a session in Chennai. So this was the image I got it. And yeah, so the safe and responsible also we had a discussion, and we created some content classification, and model monitoring also can be possible, and jailbreaking if you want to detect the risk, so that also you can use it in Azure AI Studio. Yeah, so this is the Microsoft responsible AI principles: fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, and inclusiveness. So whatever we are using it in Azure AI Studio, all these principles are applied, and we are getting that framework. And yeah, so I will skip this. And, yeah, so if you want to do some evaluation or content safety, that is also available in Azure AI Studio. And the full development lifecycle, which is very important, the prompt flow. So if you want to deploy end-to-end LLM model, we can use it, and we can use some evaluation also. We have some like this also we have seen it in Azure AI Studio. For evaluating also we can use it. And yeah, so this I'll skip it. And yeah, so this is, yeah, so this I want to show. Yes, so far we have seen about Azure AI Studio, and we gone through everything. So if you want to take it forward, so you can take this cloud skill challenge, and you can get started with a. Yeah, and I have covered about Azure AI Studio, and we have gone through the foundation model, and we seen the chat playground, and I loaded my own data, created index, we seen vector search. So these are all we seen today, and that's all from me. And I'm open for questions. And this is my LinkedIn QR code. Please connect. Feel free to connect with me in LinkedIn. So that's all from me for the today's session. Thank you all for joining.